So here we have a complaint for money damages. It's for a fraudulent inducement and conversion claim dealing with real estate. One person sold real estate on behalf of the other and deposited the money into their bank account. Rather than give the money to the owner of the property, they held on to it. So we've got a fraud and conversion claim with a demand at the end. What we're going to do is we're going to run this through AI's complaint drafting, or answer drafting module. We simply upload the complaint. I'm going to pull it right from my desktop here, sample complaint. We're going to leave the client name and matter. You can name it anything you want. That's for tracking. And then we're going to name our client, the defendant, who we're answering on behalf of. Want to name if it's multiple parties, we'd indicate that here. Here's just one person, one party, one client. We're going to indicate that. In admitted allegations will be those that you client is willing to admit to. So for example, here our defense is going to be that yes, they sold the property, yes, they deposited the funds, yes, they spent the funds, but it was all for the benefit of the plaintiff who is related. So admitted allegations can be agreed to sell the property, did sell it, deposit funds, and let's say, but spent the funds on the plaintiff. And now what we're going to do is we're going to have that's the admitted allegations, and now we'll indicate supporting defenses. What we're going to do is we're just going to actually move this down here, spent funds on the plaintiff. Did not convert or commit fraud. Sort of, did not convert funds. Let's just say that, just to make this fun. And then sympathetic facts, we're going to indicate that Ms. Smith, let's say Lauren, is an attorney who works in probate law and regularly acts as a fiduciary. Now, in practical matters, if there's a lawsuit, you probably add a breach of fiduciary, but for the simple sake of getting through this right now with everybody, we're just going to do the two complaints. Plaintiff's misgivings, let's say plaintiff has serious memory issues documented by a doctor, and let's say has sued multiple other fiduciaries for the same thing. Okay, and now we can just generate the document. And what will happen is that our system will run through and create an answer using the same setting, the same headline up front. Might look a little bit different because we're going to strip out the address. We don't do that after the complaint anyway. It'll have the header, it'll have an introductory theme. The theme will be tied into what we just entered into the inputs, and then it will go through and answer each one of the allegations individually, paragraph through paragraph, and then at the very end, we'll have a wherefore with a certificate of service. So we just have to wait for this to come back right there. Oh, and our answer is done. So, and we started a little bit late. So let's say this is done under 2 minutes. So let's download generated documents. And we're going to see here, as I indicated, we're going to have some, you have the individual answer, you'll have your framework, the header, as well as a very persuasive theme that you can use throughout the litigation. So I'll let you can pause this video if you want to read that in detail. And then you've got a series of admissions and a series of denials for the claim, including under the conversion and your fraud. Where did fraud go? Here's our conversion and here's our fraud. And then we've got general defenses. These are going to be standard ones you might expect to see in a case like this. Modified purchaser, failure to allege damages, might not have included our damages in that lawsuit there. Set off, failure to plead conversion with specificity, failure to mitigate damages, latches, estoppel. You can obviously go through and take any of these out that aren't applicable, but the idea with this system is that you've got overkill with your defenses and affirmative defenses that you can bring in later. You've got your requested relief to enter judgment on behalf of defendants, dismiss plaintiff's complaint, and then a jury demand following you or prior to your signature, and finally certificate of service, which has automatically brought in the lawyer from the well, not the lawyer. They didn't have a signature section before, so it recognized that and is pulling in the plaintiff as a pro se plaintiff here. This is an answer. This was done, as you saw, in about 2 minutes. Whether or not you go through and change one paragraph here and there, you can imagine the amount of time that it would save any lawyer in recreating a 9-page answer and having to think through all these different things that is now done for you, including a very persuasive theme that you can use throughout the litigation.